are live with Brandy today, and I'm really excited to have a live interview with such an awesome mortgage pro. What I want to make sure that everybody knows is that we are Xtreme Business Guide, and Brandy is an Xtreme Business Guide member. She takes her business to the extreme. Don't I sound like a commercial? All right, everybody. So let's have a little chat with Brandy. Hey, Brandy.
Hey.
How is it going today?
It's going great. How are you?
Okay, I am doing good. I'm excited to have you on for a lot of different reasons. Number one, I have been able to see your business grow over the years. And then, of course, I can kind of relate a little bit to your business because I was part of probably the market crash of the original refinance boom. So I'm really excited to be able to see people that have kind of made it through that and been successful, because one of the branches that I was managing actually closed down not too long after that. So I'm really excited to talk to you. So Brandy works with Homebridge Mortgage. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Why don't you tell us? Tell us what you're doing and who you work for and what you're doing.
Okay. Well, I have been here at Homebridge for this month. It's actually going to be 6 years. But I've been in the industry for 17 years.
Yeah.
So
ups and downs.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So what made you want to be in this industry? I mean, it's a crazy industry.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just kind of where life led me. I started out selling cell phones, actually. And, and, I've always been kind of an entrepreneur anyway. Just, whether it be tinting windows or mowing lawns or selling phones or opening up a store. So really, when I first got in, I was interested because it was such a big ticket item. Like it was, it's this American dream, and like this real estate world was just very interesting to me. So I actually started out as a realtor for the first part of my career. And then I went on to getting my Texas mortgage license soon after that, just because I wanted to control more parts of the transaction. And eventually I just figured out that mortgage and being on this side was better suited for me, and I could help a lot more people by being where I am, on this side of the screen, I guess.
Well, and then plus they give it this way. You're not in your car every day going to go show homes all the time. You get to talk to more people. I think, that, it's funny that you say that, because my mom's been a realtor for forever, right? They do property management and stuff like that. And I remember thinking that is the last thing in the world that I want to do. So I commend always realtors, right? They're your best friends now.
Yeah, definitely. And I still, buy and rehab and have several investment properties. So I still get to do my favorite thing as being a realtor was being inside the homes, helping people rehab homes, putting people in, markets that are appreciating, teaching them about, how that part, and educating on how like the economy works. So I'm still able to do that, but you're right. I mean, it was a limited amount of time to help the amount of people that I wanted to help at being in the car, and showing people around. And, a big reason why I became a mortgage lender is because I couldn't get communication from other mortgage loan officers. So that way, if they got in my car, I knew for sure that they were going to be approved because I had already done that due diligence. So, but, at the end of the day, this is, being on this side and being able to help people get into the house, become an investor, do debt consolidation, rehab their home through financing, all that is just way better suited for me.
Now, do you find a lot of investors are wanting to do this property flip stuff? I mean, I hear this all the time. I mean, and we're talking to a lot of entrepreneurs who are part of Xtreme Business Guide. And, as an entrepreneur, you're always thinking, what's the next best thing? What should I get into? And you hear all this talk all the time, like, invest in real estate, pretty much what you're doing. How are you seeing that? I mean, as far as a business owner, would you recommend that somebody be in the real estate industry in order to do something like that? Or because I'm telling you, I see people all the time. I've got a guy right now that I know that owns a hardware store, and he's talking about real estate investment. Now I can understand that because I'm like, well, this guy knows how to build and rebuild and rehab homes, right? But what advice would you give to people like that are thinking about getting into real estate investment?
Well, one, I mean, real estate has proven to be one of the best investments on this land. I mean, like that's very clear. The biggest piece of advice I could recommend is talking to the right professional, talking to the right person, getting the game plan together, because there are, different ways to invest in real estate. You can flip a house, you can buy a house, use a rehab type of loan and live in it and hold it and sell it in a couple of years and avoid capital gains that way. Or you can buy a home through hard money and rehab it and sell it immediately. Or you can buy a home that's ready to go and get rental income off of it and watch it appreciate over the years. So it really depends on you. Like your hardware guy, well, obviously he has the access to the tools and all the resources.
Right.
He probably has cash. He probably knows the right contractors. He probably knows how to do some of the work himself and be able to do some sweat equity instead of financing a lot of those costs. So that would be ideal. But for him, he needs to make sure he's talking to the right person who's going to ask him the right questions to get to the actual goal that he wants. Because some of these people now, like they think, oh, I'm going to get into real estate, and they think that they have to go be an HG, TV person and flip a home, and they're like, we bought it for 100, we put 20 in it, we sold it for 150, we made 30 grand. No, I mean, that's not how it works at all.
Right.
There's holding costs. You're gonna break into a wall and find out a pipe is busted. You're gonna find things. So you need to make sure that you're ready for all that. That you're going to be the general contractor, or you're hiring the right people, the right GC to handle it. So it really, I mean, again, you have to talk to the right realtor, the right loan officer, and the right to get to in that's going to ask you the right questions, because you might be like, what, maybe I'll buy this house. It's undervalued and there's very little cosmetic work, and I'm going to hold it for 5 years, make rental income off of it, and sell it later on when the appreciation is up, and let the renters pay for it itself. So it really just depends on your very specific situation.
Yeah, that's some really good advice. We're both on Facebook all the time, and we understand Facebook advertising, and you see these pop-ups, they target us, they really do. They target entrepreneurs to say, you can get rich in real estate. I mean, every time I see that stuff, I'm just like, are you kidding me? What are you selling? So that's a great answer. So if you are interested, you definitely want to talk to Brandy about that. So on to the social media. How do you feel social media, primarily we're Facebook Live, but how do you feel like social media has affected your business? Has it helped? Has it been great? I mean, we're always encouraging people to get social. It's one of our 4 key elements that every business owner must have. And so how does it affect your business? How is it working for you?
I got really lucky that I got onto social media. I got into Facebook early. I connected. In fact, I was larger on LinkedIn before even Facebook. I mean, I got really lucky that I kind of got it from the beginning. I don't know why, but back with MySpace and things like Hot or Not and like the Dilly and stuff like that, remember those days, I was like, wow, I'm really reaching out to a different people, different networks, different, and so it was very interesting to me, the conversations I was having. So because of that, I've always just kept up with, targeting and keeping connected with a lot of people that are in the industry, mentors, people that I wanted, I was looking up to, so I could see what they were doing and following them. So, Facebook and Twitter and every single social media outlet out there has allowed me to connect with the right people and send my message to the right people. I mean, there's no one on my Facebook that could ever guess what it is I do for a living, right? Like, I make it very clear, very clear. And it makes my life easier because I can be cohesive in my personal and my professional life. So, I live and I embody exactly what I do, and everybody knows that. And so it's just made my life a lot easier. I'm connected to the right people. I'm able to educate through these resources. So, it's direct. It's affected. I can't imagine. It's funny because I can't imagine, because when I first started, there was not MySpace and everything else, but
Right.
it was more difficult. Back then it was like Google Analytics and doing, but it was still online, and it was door knocking. It was putting flyers in. It was answering the phone at the front desk. It was hustling my friends. Like I probably hustled you back in the day. Like, are you sure you want to buy? Hello, where? Come on.
Yeah, right.
But now it's allowed that kind of warm lead. It allows a comfortable place for people to ask questions, because when people are buying a house, I'm gonna see things. If you went through a divorce, if you had a medical collection, if you had something, and I've seen it all. Okay, like I've seen it all in 17 years. I'm telling you, I've seen it all. And so what it does is allows people to like stay behind their screen and message me like, hey, so I'm kind of thinking of doing this, and it allows us to come together and build a relationship and feel comfortable that I'm going to help you. I don't care if you had a bankruptcy. I don't care if you had a foreclosure. I don't care. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Maybe we can't do it right now, but we can do it in 6 months, 2 years from now, or whatever. And I can give you that solid game plan to make sure you're in the exact right place in your credit score and your down payment. We can pay for your closing costs and show you all these options that you have. There's 100% financing out there. What if you're going to go live in the country? We have USDA financing, 100% financing, very little. Like, I could probably take care of your closing costs and come to the table with $0. Like, you never know. That's why it's so important to contact and show me your situation. But Facebook and social media has allowed that kind of warm feeling where I like, my hustle is just putting out great content.
Well, and it's funny. You think back in the day how we were trained as salespeople, right? It was so different. I call it old school selling now.
Yeah.
People don't buy that way anymore. No. It's all about relationship. And especially what you do is really relationship. They got to trust you. And okay, yeah, like you said, all my secrets are coming out. I'm on my third wife, and this house is I can totally imagine that. Like that's crazy.
But I've seen it all.
But I think I really agree. I feel like social media builds relationships. It takes a starting relationship and then allows you to build them. It's not like the dating site. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it is, though. Think about it. You're meeting people, you're connecting with your partners. Yeah. They're sending referrals. Are you a part of a lot of groups, or do you have your own Facebook group, or are you in those groups with people?
Yeah, so I have I have a community page, City Home Hunt, but I do a lot through my personal page, honestly. But I do have the Brandy Whitmire Mortgage Team on Facebook. I believe so much in having mentors and having a group, a tribe. In fact, I have 2 different tribes. They're actually both called Tribe. And I believe in that because then we network with each other. We help each other. I'm licensed in, my company's licensed in 50 states. I've got 40 something states up right now, but I can do anything nationwide. So, if someone has a loan in Oklahoma, I can do it, or I can get you to the right place. I can get you to the right person through some of my networks. I'm part of some groups that have, I think one has 60,000 people in it, and most of them are going to know my name in there because I'm going to post in there. And that, it's important to be in a network, especially as an entrepreneur, especially in sales, and getting the right message out. Like, you have to be a part of these groups and have those mentors and be involved and active, because it's a game changer.
Do you feel like in those groups, like I noticed too, I'm the same thing. I'm in a lot of, higher end digital marketing groups, and, we're always sharing the latest technology, right? And then sometimes you want to know what's out there. You may not use it, but you want to know what's out there. Do you find like that people are sharing things, and some things you can use and you're like, oh, I'm going to do that. Or some things you're like, no, that's not going to work for my business. Or is it more just, you're just building the relationships in the group?
It's really both. So I do have a group, MFBA. It's a loan officer group. And I love that because it's like, it's it's limited. They only let, professionals in there, but you can go in there and ask hard questions like, hey, I've got this weird deal and it's what's happening. Like, oh no, Fannie Mae 3.253 says da 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 da. And like, we can network that way. And then I do have marketing groups and things like that they're like, hey, look at this cool new thing, this new, right. And I'm like, so it can go both ways. I want to know what's out there. And that is how I stay on top of all of my marketing and all of my systems and all the manufacturing things that I can do, so I can do things quickly, efficiently, and move everything, the loan right along, be in the know. I never want to be that older person who doesn't know how to work an iPad, like I gotta know exactly what's going on. But it does sometimes get me into like a playground mode, because I'm like, oh, a cool new thing. I'm going to want to go check that out. How can I, work it into my system or change my system? So it can go both ways. Sometimes you got to back off and just do your thing.
Right. Not get inundated with all the ideas. Exactly.
It's like analysis paralysis. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like a kid in a candy store. Like, I love everything. I want to do everything now, because it's so fun, and technology has helped us. So much in being able to do loans faster, to be able to get communication out faster, to be able to get more clients, to give, and it's such a big deal. And I'm going to reiterate this, like, I feel like, there are good and bad people in every industry, right? There's new people that might be good later, but they need experience,
right.
And, and I want to be the mentor to those people. But I feel like I have a moral and ethical responsibility to help as many people as I can, and in the quickest way possible, because I've seen, I fix deals all the time. People got screwed over here, screwed over there. Someone didn't know, it's not like people are loan officers or realtors are out there are trying to screw people over. I don't believe that. I believe they're just not educated enough. They didn't know, they didn't ask the right questions up front. Right. To fix things beforehand. And things do happen. Things happen all the time. There's a reason why it takes 30 days to close a loan. Well, here 23, just depends, we can get
right.
But there's a reason why it takes that amount of time, because you're working with 18 people in a transaction and trying to get everybody to nod their head yes, and make all the papers look correct. So, the technology in those groups creates efficiency that allows us to help more people.
Right. So, and I know from being a loan officer, I know that the more that the more you can help manage those 18 people that are going through, and at least walk through with them with the process. Because I know the buyer or the person getting the loan, a lot of times they don't get the answers. They don't get the call back. They're like waiting, what's going on, And I know that there is a waiting period, and you're waiting and they're waiting and everybody's waiting. Yeah. But what I like is that you want to get it. Your goal is to get it to the end point, right? And to get to those 18 people, but then educate. And you never know, that one person is not doing their job and it slows down the whole process. So, I definitely understand that. What I really like about what you're saying, Brandy, is, I think that just as human beings, that if we don't, like I tell everybody, I wake up every day, however I can help a small business owner get growth or find growth, or at least I'm working with a guy right now that may be completely changing his entire business direction. All right. From what he started with. Mm-hmm. But I've had that relationship with him. I'm developing that with him. This might have been a great idea at first, but now we're leaning into something that might be an even better idea and might be more natural for him. Right. Mm-hmm. But it's like every day our goal is to help people, and I think that, it's like, that's just it. If we just wake up every day and help people, they just kind of come, and obviously you're doing something right, because you're very successful. You've been winning tons of awards. Your sales are phenomenal. I got to give you some credit there. You got to be pretty proud about that.
Very, very happy about it. And I'm looking to increase that this year. This team, and this is not a Lone Ranger type of situation. I've got an entire team in here that is just phenomenal, very passionate, care. They care so much. And like, I just can't tell you, having the right team and having the right passionate people on your team makes all the difference in the world.
Right.
I mean, it really does. So this is, it takes our army, and, so it's the team has gotten us here, and we are looking to increase and grow even more in 2018.
So something on that. Let's talk just for a second about teams, because I think this is really important. You started off as a Lone Ranger because that's where you start, right?
Yeah.
Just like every entrepreneur, we start out, we are accounting, we're payroll, we're paying we're HR to ourselves, we're marketing, we're everything.
18 hats. Yep.
Yeah. 18. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. But that is really funny because I have a lot of people that use that program. But what I think is really cool is, or what I'd like to ask you, that doing this for 17 years, when did you know when it was time to get that help? Because a lot of entrepreneurs will say, oh, I can't do this paperwork, I need somebody now. I made that mistake in my first business, and I lost thousands of dollars in 6 months trying to pay somebody before I hired before it hurt, right?
Yeah.
And so I wasn't making money, but they were making money. It was a lesson I learned. But how can we help other business owners? Tell me when did you know it was time to grow your team and have that team?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go back to what I said about, like, I want to help as many people as possible. Mm-hmm. I'm also a control freak when it comes to
we are.
Yeah. You know why? Because I know I'm going to know how to fix something quickly. If something happens or something got missed, I'm going to know how to fix it. I'm going to do it quickly. I'm going to be all over it. I don't care if it's 2:00 in the morning. I'm on it. And and back to your point, every single person in this office that works for me makes a salary. I do not make a salary. I am the last to get paid every time. Mm-hmm. And all the marketing that I spend, that's all on my pocket and all that. And, before the crash, I had, an assistant, and that's kind of what you did. And I had to, because I was a realtor and a loan officer, and I was doing both and being very successful at both as a very young person, which was good and bad.
Right.
But I was getting experience. And when the crash happened, and I had to move to LA, and like all this stuff happened, I was like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not hiring someone again, because I still owed her, her money. And and then I was $65,000 in debt, and I was freaking out, and I had no money coming in, $0. So, but everybody asking me for money, owing. Yeah.
Yeah. The water bills still due every month. I don't know. It doesn't stop.
Yeah. The rent, the office rent, everything was still due. Right. Phone bills. Oh my gosh. So, when, about 6 years ago, I was like, I think it's time, and the thing is, as an entrepreneur, if you can find someone, no one's ever going to care like you. Get that straight. No one's ever going to be as passionate or care like you in your business. So just get over it. It's not going to happen. I mean, that's the biggest advice I can give. Don't get over it. However, if someone can do a certain task 80% as good as you can, that's enough. And you can oversee the other 20%. You can manage the 20%. And the biggest, you're not going to grow if you don't hire somebody. You're just not. You've got to get over yourself. You've got to get over your perfectionism, and you can still be a perfectionist and in control. There's nothing wrong with those words. There's nothing wrong with understanding and knowing the complete process. And so when you master something, it's time for you as the entrepreneur to move on to the next thing. Right. You need to move on to the next, how do I market better? How do I reach more people? How do I become a better leader? How do I find motivation to get up in the morning? And, a good thing about employees too, is that they become kind of your boss. So even if you don't feel like getting up in the morning, you have to, because they're going to be here. So, right. So you have some accountability there. Yes, and they do become your accountability partners. And then you start managing, I always call myself a process manager. There's, I have a board right here. There's 23 different arms of my business, and I manage every single one of those arms at a high level. And then I have an office manager, I have a transaction manager, I have a processing manager, I've got a marketing manager that I'm managing. And that way, whenever I have an idea and I can coach. And the beautiful thing about it too is that I'm coaching people and giving them careers in this industry.
Yeah.
And it feels great. It feels good. And I'm teaching them how to do it correctly, how to take care of our clients correctly, and how to educate, because that's really what we do. I mean, I never see myself, whenever people are like, you're in sales, you're a salesperson. I'm like, I'm an educator. Like, I'm really a consultant. I'm an educator, because once I've answered your questions and once I've educated you on the process and what you can do, that the sell is done. Because if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. And maybe we don't want to work together. Sometimes that happens too. And the beautiful thing about being an entrepreneur is I don't have to, and you don't have to. Like, we don't have to work together. If we don't get along, if you're a realtor, no. If you're going to be rude to me or my staff, no. If you're going to be great to us and we can work cohesively, great. And that's, to me, the biggest deal is knowing when to say no to people, knowing what to, saying no at the right times. And that goes for the team as well, so, but again, I think that you're not going to grow without building a team. You're just not. So just take one of the arms of your business and train. Have them sit next to you. Train them on something simple. Hire someone for 10 hours a week, whatever it is. Start somewhere. And believe me, you're going to find things because you're going to be like, well, they didn't do it that bad.
Yeah, right.
It got done. And while they were doing that,
sometimes it's like, whoa, they were faster than me. That took me 1 hour and they did that in 10 minutes. It's like, whoa, I need that.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, while they were doing that, I was able to help somebody else. I was able to do something else. And then all of a sudden you're going to realize that there's a lot of things minutia work that you're doing that someone else can do. And there's nothing wrong with that, because now you're teaching someone else exactly how you were brought up. Right. We all did the minutia work at first. We all did that. Everybody starts somewhere. So, building a team, I think, is imperative, and you owe it to your clients. You owe it to your consumer base. You owe it to your business partners to have a good team.
Yep. Nope. I totally agree. I feel that way with our support and training, because if I didn't have them, because I can't do everything. I mean, it's like, I totally know what you mean. Yeah. But it's kind of I did learn one thing in the hire when it starts to hurt theory. I love that quote I heard, hire when it hurts, because it could be hurting your client. It could be hurting you, your time, your sleep. So there's a lot of things that go into that. So that's pretty cool. So when people want to, they say, I'm ready to buy a home. I found a home, or they've decided they want to buy a home, or they want to upsell their home. They want to sell their home, buy a new home, or they want to invest. Do you work off of like an appointment system, or do you just tell everybody, just call you, my team's here, we're going to take care of you? Tell us how that process kind of works. So when they are ready, or they do have questions, tell us how that works at your office or your location. Or is it just all online?
It's mostly online. Every once in a while we have people that want to come in. That's great. I'm here. We've got our sales team here. We've got someone here that can help. Everything is electronic and digital. It makes it a lot easier, but we still have some people who just feel more comfortable coming in, sitting down, which is great. Like a lot of our reverse mortgage clients, our older clients, they want to come in. They need to feel that they like literally want a handhold. They want to shake a hand and make a deal. And that's great. And we love that. And actually sometimes it can be better because I'm like, you need to bring this, and this, and this. I get all the documents at one time and we can clean it through, so really either way is great for us, but mostly it's find me online. So it could be Twitter, it could be Facebook, it could be LinkedIn.
Yeah, and I'm going to share that in a minute here. So I'll share that. So
it could be my phone number. It could be, Google Brandy Whitmire, and you're going to find how to.
Yep, you can't miss that.
And thanks to you, I've got such a good Google business page now. So thank you. But if you just Google my name, you're going to get in there, and you'll call into our direct line, my cell phone. You'll text me. You'll email me. You'll find my application. You'll find the website. And look around, but contact us, because depending on the questions that you ask or how you reach out is whether I know I need to jump on the phone with you, or someone on my sales team. I'm going to be able to match you up with the right person. If you're doing a rehab loan, I know exactly who on my team who is a specialist at that. If you're looking to be if you're a first-time home buyer, I have someone on my team who specializes in that.
Oh,
if you are an investor, same thing, especially reverse mortgage specialize in that. So I'm going to know. So it's really just reach out in any outlet possible, whatever you feel comfortable with. Some people like to talk on the phone. Some people like to text. Some people like to talk on Facebook Messenger. Some people like to email. So we have all of that here and are available all the time. Whether you need a pre-approval in an hour, or you are, looking to buy in a year, whatever that time frame is, call immediately. Call at that time, or just reach out on a simple text message or a messenger, or some kind of direct message, because that way we can at least start that process in the conversation to make sure you're in the right place when you're ready.
Right. And then would you say, as far as the process goes, when you go to a mortgage website, obviously you always see the rates, and then you always see apply here, right? Or get pre-qualified. A lot of people are like, is that what I do? I mean, and I know that sounds like, we feel like as homeowners or people educated, we know that you've got to have that application. Yeah. Is that pretty much your process? Make sure you go fill that out, and then you have all the information you need on paper when it's time to chat? Or are you saying come and chat with us, or is it kind of a combination of both? Call us.
It's really a combination. If you know, hey, I know I've got a job, I've got a W-2 job. I already know my credit score. I've got cash in the bank. I've got putting 20% down. Yeah, go ahead and fill out the app and we'll do it. A lot of people are not comfortable with that, but it's funny. I mean, we get applications throughout the day that I'm like, where'd you find this? You just gave us all your information. Do you know me? Don't recommend doing that with other people, because you don't know if that link, if you don't know me, don't do that, Right. But, if you don't know the person, but I mean, obviously if you look me up, you see I'm legit. I'm,
right.
Yeah. Top 1% in America. I was on a list with Janet Yellen, who's the head of the Federal Reserve.
Right.
Top 100 people. I mean, so you're going to see that, you're going to know that I'm legit and, ready to go. If you already know that you want to work with me, yeah, fill it out and then email me hey, I filled out the application. Call me whenever you go over it, because when someone fills out an application online, we're always going to have to tailor that up. And again, we're always going to have to ask the right qualifying questions to make sure we're not, stepping on any guidelines, or we're not, that it's going to get approved down the line.
Right. Absolutely.
If someone says they're, unmarried, well, okay, are you divorced? Do you pay child support? Do you get child support? Do you whatever? Okay, well, right. You had a big, whatever the case may be, so we have to have the application to know where you are, because we have to run the credit. We've got to, take a look at your job history. We've got to do all these things depending on the loan. And sometimes we don't. Let's say you have an FHA loan or a VA loan, and you want to reduce your interest rate. We have no doc loans too. That's why just reach out. Okay, do if you call me, and there's so many products now too. So,
oh, I know. I mean, I couldn't even ask you to start telling us all that. Yeah.
But ideally, I would say if you're ready to go, do both, because I'm gonna ask you for the app, right? Okay. But if you just want some questions answered, that's fine too.
Well, and a lot of people now, they know they're going to eventually talk to you. They want to find out first, do they even qualify or whatnot. So the internet has just made that so easy. And the application through you guys is definitely secure. So nobody's got to worry about that.
Yes.
But kind of on that one quick topic, for self-employed business owners, what would you recommend? Most of them, maybe bought their home when they were working, or, being with somebody else. But as far as a self-employed business owner, what kind of things do they need to be thinking about if they want to buy or refinance a home? Just, you don't have to give us the whole rundown of, okay, you need this, but just let's get them in the mindset, because I know a lot of self-employed business owners do not keep good books. And that's one of the first things we do in some of our strategy calls, is to find out how they're managing their process, where their income's going, how are they paying themselves? It's like an operational process. So what can we tell them? What do they need to look good on paper? I mean, for a self-employed person, whether they're buying, refinancing, just any kind of quick tip to make them think in terms of how they should be doing their books. you know?
Yeah. So one, I have to say that you should always consult your CPA on
Absolutely. Yeah.
any of that, right? So I have to tell you that. I will say, I mean, there are, it just depends. I mean, you know, the overall story is that the IRS says, you know, the government says, if you don't pay taxes to us, then we're not going to allow you to borrow money. Kind of, it's a theory, right? Because like if you made $100,000 and you wrote off $100,000, it's going to show $0 on the tax return.
Right.
Well, that means I have $0 to work with. So if I need to keep you under 50%, you know, ratios, let's say you make $1,000 a month, you make $12,000 a year, that's $1,000 a month. That means you can only borrow $500 a month or $550, whatever it is. I'm just using easy math. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But let's say that you've got 300,000 in the bank account. Well, we have programs for that now. You know, if you make zero, like, let's say you've owned your business for 5 years, and in the beginning, all your startup costs and all the write-offs were there. But now last year you were able to make a profit. Well, we have a 1 year tax return loan now that will allow you to just use that one instead of the typical 2 years.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And as long as you've owned it for 5 years. So I'm going to say it again. You just need to call us. You need to, you know, if you're self-employed, make sure that you have your last 2 years personal and business returns ready to go on your current profit and loss. If you're, you know, through the first quarter of the year, so that we can actually review it, because that's the entire answer. It's going to be on those pages.
Exactly.
And I'm going to be able to tell you.
And I think that's great advice, because a lot of people were doing our books, you know, you're showing a loss maybe in the first 3 or 4 years, right? But they don't really realize how it's actually hurting. It can hurt them in the future for different purchases. I mean, it could be a car, it could be a mortgage and things like that. So that's just great advice. And I think every business owner kind of needs to be thinking about it, not be thinking, what can I write off all the time? Yeah, but start your goal as a small business owner is to show growth, to show profit, to bring people on, not to, you know, so we want to prepare you for that. So that's really good advice.
And it's a good thing to pay taxes. If you're paying taxes, you're making money. You know, you can W-2 yourself. I mean, you can do, like, there's so many things. Again, consult your CPA.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I tell everybody. Talk to your CPA, because every business is different, definitely.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. This is going to be another question. I'm going to ask you a couple more questions here, and then we'll end this. But I want to know this, because there are tons of mortgage companies out there. So my question to you is, what makes you different? Why should I call you versus all the other mortgage people that pop up here and there?
Well, my question to you would be, why not? You know? Why not? No, I think, you know, we're always learning and growing. You know, if something happens in a loan, we are putting something into our system that helps prevent that from happening again, right? Guidelines change every day. The government changes their mind on this, you know, on their rules of this or that or whatever law every day. What I can say is that I keep myself very educated. I keep myself with mentors. I keep myself around the right people. We are very diligent on having a manufacturing line in our business here. And the reason for that is that one person's always going to be dedicated to one part of that problem, so that communication's there for our business partners, for our realtors, CPAs, lawyers, like other loan officers. I'm licensed all over the country. So I get a lot of business from other loan officers too. But what I can say is different is that it's keeping educated, being on top of it, being quick to respond, communication, and educating. And I can't say that enough. It's, you know, even if you're not going to use us and you already know that your sister Sally is a loan officer and you're going to have to use her, quote unquote, because I would still call us. I would still call us, and that happens all the time. We have friends like, hey, my brother's, something else that we do is we match you up with the right realtor in the right area as well. I mean, that's a big deal.
That's good.
So if we can't help you on the loan, I can help match you with the right real estate agent in a specific area that's going to match your personality, what you're doing, and be able to help you in the best way possible. So again, I'd say education, the passion of the team is unreal. I've been doing this for a long time, and it's just imperative to keep yourself motivated and keep your people motivated and the passion in. And another thing is, because of that education, I can guarantee you one thing. If I can't get your loan done, no one can.
Right.
No one can. Because I will fight to the end. It might not look pretty sometimes, but you're going to get in there. You're not going to, if you got declined, there's just no freaking way. It's just not going to happen until a certain time. But I always like to say this: it's not a matter of if you're approved; it's a matter of when you're approved. So let's figure that out. And that's a big deal, is that we care about getting people into the right home or refinance. Take your term down, save thousands of dollars. Big misconceptions that people think like, oh, I'm going to have this loan for 30 years. I've never seen that. I've never seen someone have their loan for 30 years. And why would you do that? It's not smart, right? Your taxes are going to go up. You're going to need to refinance. You're going to want to go to a 15-year or a 20-year. You're going to want to debt consolidate. You're going to want to update your home. Take cash out, update your home. You're going to pay that sucker down. You don't want that same payment or going up, for 30 years, and it's just, we have an education force here ready to go.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's really cool. So one last thing that I'm going to ask you that I think is really a good question from the business owner perspective. I feel like I'm already ready to call you, but I got a home, so I'm good.
But refinance.
Yeah, right.
Let's see.
But the thing, like, I think for business owners, you work in a really hard industry, all right? Because you've got, and I like this question too for when I'm talking to my wedding professionals, because they're doing the same thing. They're dealing with 12 or 14 other vendors on that day to make somebody's wedding happen, all right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I like to do, that I want to ask you is, because you got to tell people no sometimes, or like you just said, now's not the time, but it's coming, right? If you do these things that I tell you, you'll be ready at this time, right?
Right.
So what keeps you going? I mean, is it the fact that that person could call you back in 5 years? Because I know that there's a lot of things, I'm sure people get mad at you when their credit's not good or they're not ready. Yeah, it's always your fault. No, but I want to be realistic. I mean, being a loan officer and running a branch, it's not all roses and petals, because you have day-to-day things that happen. Like you said, you're going to fight for people. You're going to, you're always trying to work the process and make sure things go. So what I really want you to, I guess, share with business owners is just what keeps you motivated. I mean, because I know that not every day is great. And I know that it can be difficult, things can be your fault, right? Even though they're not. So I just kind of want to know, what keeps it, I mean, for 17 years, growth pattern, you're everywhere. You can't not find you, right?
Good.
You've obviously done all the things right. So 17 years later, what makes you keep going?
What motivates me? I would probably say motivating people. When someone does call and let's say they have some bumps and bruises on their credit, or they don't have any money, so they don't think, they feel like they're going to have to lease, or they are going through a divorce, or they're going through whatever, they're having a baby, or their kids left the house and they're downsizing, or whatever the case may be. It's that putting people on a plan instills a confidence in someone that it's the only tangible thing, because it's not really tangible, right? It's the only real tangible thing, because really I'm loaning money in the air, right? I'm just like, it's all electronic. So that feeling of motivating someone and seeing them get, be confident, or seeing their credit score go up, or helping them pay off all their debt, or putting them in better, better situation, that's what's motivating. Like, it's motivating the people that's motivating. And it is that it's having a team here and motivating my team to grow and be stronger and work harder and stay passionate. Problems happen every day. It's the worst. I mean, it's like every day I get something and I'm like, seriously, like, okay, how are we going to move? What's going to happen? Like, but we know we have to act fast, but, but because of what we do, we win so many times. So, there is value in the struggle. There is value in the struggle. It is hard. It is not cute sometimes.
Right.
It is, people get mad, and, if someone's appraisal comes in low, they don't think it's because their house just didn't appraise that much. It's because it's my appraisal. And I'm like, that's illegal. I don't have appraisers. We don't do that.
Right.
I'm not an appraiser. I just get the little piece of paper back, and, and sometimes, but there's bad appraisers out there, so that's, there's bad everything out there. Then there's great ones too. I mean, there's a spectrum. So, my biggest thing is that it's not my fault, but it is my problem, and we are here to fix it. And that's something that, we talk about in the team constantly is it's not your fault, but it's your problem. So fix it. Like, it doesn't matter. These people are going through emotional stress. They probably have kids in a U-Haul. They're trying, changing the electricity. They're, having to take off work, they're doing all that, and things do happen, like, and it sucks, but we're going to fix it. And we're going to move forward. And yeah, it's difficult. And being so emotionally invested, I'm emotionally invested in all my clients. And so when someone is stressed out, I'm taking that on, but it's my job to keep it here, handle the situation, handle everything, and do it in the best way possible. I mean, in the quickest way possible. But yeah, I mean, that's what motivates me, because even through the struggle, and it's not cute, but sometimes, but we win.
Right.
And when someone signs at the closing table, when someone pays off their debt, when someone rehabs their first home, when someone buys their first investment property, when someone does a reverse mortgage and never has a mortgage again for the rest of their life and can go traveling with their partner. It's, these are the things those are the wins, because so no matter what, there's value in the struggle, and you just keep on going and you win and you keep winning. And that's what's motivating.
That's cool. So, like, on a whole personal note, do you have like some secret regime that you do, like when you wake up in the morning to pump yourself up? What do you do to get ready for your day at work?
You got to sweat, stretch it out, listen to a podcast, put on some good music, and that's it. Like, workout, stretch, and keep positive things going in, or industry news or whatever. But I'm constantly reading. I mean, but yeah. And it's just getting
I'm sure you've got not just industry stuff to read, but just things to, we all do that better ourselves.
You got to stay positive. You got to keep the positive around you so that you can put it out there.
You have a life, because, once we all like you, we get to follow you on Facebook. So you get to have fun. So you're obviously enjoying life as well as working hard. So that's really great and motivating.
You got to keep the balance.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do real quick, you guys, and then I'm going to let Brandy go. I know we've been on here a little bit longer, but man, I'll tell you what, you got some great stuff going on over there. Like, really good stuff. Give me a second here. I'm going to go to the screen so I can get everybody to Brandy's. So Brandy's located here in the Dallas, Texas area, right in Uptown, right? Kind of uptown area, right over there.
We're right above Clybourne Park.
And Brandy's with us. She's an Xtreme Business Guide. You can also find her on the Home Guide. And then, of course, you people, if you're watching this in the Wedding Guide, guys, when you get married, you're going to want that house. I see it happen all the time. So you definitely want to call Brandy. All right. So I'm going to leave this screen up, and then I've also got this link as well. You can visit and like Brandy on Facebook at Brandy Whitmire. Whitmire?
Whitmire.
I said Whitmer. Brandy Whitmire. All right. So we're in Texas. You can also definitely want to follow Brandy on Twitter. I liked these two. I picked these two because I felt like your Facebook page was awesome and your Twitter page was very educational. And then, of course, you guys, we've been talking a lot about applications and information. So I wanted to definitely give them your .info page as well. So if you want to get started on the process, or you are interested, again, connect, or like she said, jump online. So I guess that's really it for our live presentation. Again, Brandy, thank you so much for being here. And then I guess we'll see you guys next week. Anything you want to end with, Brandy?
No, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. And I mean, definitely reach out. to me and my team anytime. You can also text home to 36260 and find information there.
36260.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to get with each other on that one.
Yes. We'll be talking.
All right. Thanks again, Brandy. All right. We're going to end this. And again, we appreciate everybody for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next live interview session.